You are watching GDTV's Special Report. Thanks for joining us for a special report on Asian American Business Summit and Expo. For the first time in U.S. immigration history, the largest number of first-year immigrants is not from a Latin country. China and India have now replaced Mexico as the largest sources of recent immigrants in the U.S., according to the U.S. Census. At 19.4 million strong and representing 6% of the total U.S. population, Asian Americans grew 46% from 2002 to 2014 and are now recognized as the fastest-growing multicultural segment in the U.S. The group is expected to continue its growth trajectory, rising 150% between now and 2050, according to U.S. Census projections. Asian American Chamber of Commerce, AACC, is dedicated to improving the economic development for Asian Pacific American-owned businesses in VA, DC, and MD. Asian American Chamber of Commerce, AACC, facilitates the growth and development of member businesses through AACC-sponsored events such as business networking programs, Business Expo, business development workshops, seminars, and other special events. AACC provides a platform for members to network and market their products and services. Asian American businesses generated over 52% of the total revenues generated by all minority businesses. AACC provides a link to Asian and Pacific business communities in Greater Washington area. It's also a great platform for corporations to reach out to local Asian and Pacific market. Today's Asian American Business Summit and Expo is the 8th annual event organized by Asian American Chamber of Commerce. The event received the support from both the state of Maryland and Montgomery County government support. The governor, Larry Hogan, sent a letter to show his support of the event by stating, "Since its founding in 2009, the Asian American Chamber of Commerce has been committed to advocating for and providing assistance to Asian Pacific American-owned businesses in Maryland, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. Our administration is focused on creating jobs and improving Maryland's economic climate, and the support provided by AACC could not be more essential to realize these goals. Promoting Asian American businesses will positively impact the state as a whole, creating and retaining more jobs, developing entrepreneurship, and building up our communities. The event provides a unique opportunity for businesses to connect with the Asian business community, meet industry-specific buyers and decision-makers, and learn about opportunities in government procurement, diversified supplier programs, and business enterprise certifications. Our goal is to provide a dynamic networking venue that promotes opportunity, education, strategic alliances, and small business growth. You can find more information on Asian American Chamber of Commerce at www.asian-americanchamber.org.
Cindy, what a great event you're putting together here.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, with all the panelists and also all the experts here, and Asian community, Asian small business really getting attention not only at the city level, we're getting attention from the state level, and even at the federal level, we have the support and representation and to support our Asian business. How did you do this?
Oh, we have been doing this for many years, and we got wonderful support from federal, state, county, and the city level. They've been supporting us for many years in the past.
Well, Asian American Chamber is one of the largest, probably one of the oldest chamber focusing on Asian small businesses in the area.
Yeah.
And can you just briefly talk about your history and accomplishments?
Okay. So we were established in 2009. Our mission is to support the business development of Asian Pacific American-owned business in Greater Washington, D.C. area. So in the past 8 years, we've been hosting various programs and events to fulfill our mission. So we host events like this, Summit and Expo, to provide the platform so business can showcase and connect with the government resources. We also have many other programs, including breakfast program and business luncheons and the after-hour mixer. We also recognize outstanding business owner, so our Jewels of Asia Gala. we use that to recognize the business in the community.
Well, most of our Asian businesses are small, restaurant owners or service providers. So why they should join the chamber?
Because Chamber is a great platform. People from various background and business people from different industry can connect, so they can learn about different opportunities and resources, and also build a strong network with other business professionals. So it's not like you're just doing something yourself, so you get the support from a big network.
Well, that is so true because from the vendors and also speakers today, there's a very wide variety from the government, both from federal, state, and city, and also from the business, from the banks, from the telecommunication and accounting. So all the support a small business need to be successful, all the resources are here under one umbrella. So I think you did a tremendous job to get all the support and into this to support our Asian small businesses.
Thank you so much. It's a privilege to be here this morning. Thanks Cindy and the members of the Asian American Chamber for organizing this worthy event. So thank you for all that you do.
So what kind of economic impact do Asian Americans have on the local economy?
Oh, absolutely important. They are huge part of overall Maryland's economy. Give an example. There are 580,000 entities registered as small business in Maryland. And we have found out that more than 60% plus are either owned by minorities or women. So that tells you that this particular group is a tremendous source of strength in overall Maryland's economy.
Well, I know the state of Maryland is not only focusing on Asian Americans locally and also globally from Asia, and I know state is very active in recruiting and promoting the state economy in those countries.
Yes, that is very true. Governor is very focused on expanding and extending Maryland's reach globally. We are absolutely aware of the fact that we do live in this era called globalization, and in globalization, I think there's one thing that really sticks out, that which the governor is fully aware of, and that is you gain economic strength by connecting interdependent parts. And what that means is, if you have a nexus to your own home country, well, you have to leverage that by trading or bringing investment back and forth between here and your mother country. So we are fully aware of that, and we have done many outreach events and trade missions to accomplish that. As long as you're a small business, you become prime contractors. And as long as you're a small business, you can self-register, self-certify, and participate in the program. It's a very fast-growing program, and when we took over this program 2 years ago, we had 2,500 companies register. Today, we have over 6,000, indicating tremendous amount of interest in the program. So today, we do close to $750 million of award, and it's growing at a tremendous rate. So it's a one program that we really focusing on because we know this is relevant to you. Now, what are we doing as far as helping small business community? Because running a small business, no matter the economic conditions, is pretty tough to do. You've got things that are changing around you, from globalization to on-demand economy to the Internet of Things and so on. Your landscape is constantly shifting. So what to do? So governor, he focuses on macro, from the macro perspective. He's trying to improve the environment in which you compete. Improve the forest so that all trees can receive sunlight. So he focuses on improving the tax and fee structures, improving the regulatory structures, improving the physical infrastructure, and so on. From my perspective, my office, as they say, organization is merely an extended shadow of its leaders. So that's what my office is. What I do reflects the governor's vision. So from the micro perspective, my office is out there working with smaller.
The Asian American Chamber of Commerce is very important to the economy for our state and for our county. And I'm just very pleased to be here.
Well, we know the state of Maryland is really a state stands out in supporting Asian American businesses. So can you just briefly share with us what kind of impact do Asian businesses have on local economy and the state economy?
Well, international economic growth is one of the key priorities for Governor Hogan. We've had in Maryland just terrific economic successes, and in the last economic report that came out from the U.S. Department of Labor, our unemployment rate dropped to 3.9%, which is well below the national average of 4.4%. We continue to lead the Mid-Atlantic in job growth. So in terms of our economic growth, things are going very well in Maryland, but the governor believes that we can continue to do even better. And one area in which we can really exploit is the international growth. We have in Maryland, in Montgomery County, such a terrific Asian American community. So there's a natural inclination to work internationally, and being able to promote Maryland exports to key international marketplaces, especially in Asia, and also to try to attract Asian businesses to Maryland and to Montgomery County through direct foreign investment is a key priority for the state and for the governor.
Well, that's quite remarkable because not only Asian businesses improve the employment rate for the state, but also, of course, the state is very aggressive in pursuing Asian countries and to invest in the state of Maryland.
Yeah, the governor believes that Asia, given the state's demographics, is really a key marketplace. And we see this not just in Maryland, but also throughout the rest of the country as well. The governor went to Asia, to China, to South Korea, and also to Japan in the 2015 trade mission. We just came back with the First Lady to another trade mission to Korea, and we're seeing a great deal of receptiveness from Asian companies to come to Maryland as their first entry to the United States marketplace. And I think that's based on the strength of our quality of life, our education system, the fact that we have great assets in terms of research on both the federal and also the private sectors. And it's an asset, I think, that all these assets together really make it attractive for companies across the world to be able to come to Maryland. And we're finding that there's a great deal of receptivity to a lot of these companies looking to Maryland first as their first entry into the United States.
Well, the fact that the governor appointed you to this key position, and that just shows the state's commitment to Asian communities, and of course, and you're recruiting other Asian countries to do business in the state of Maryland. Thank you so much for your support.
Oh, thank you, Rose.
Good morning and welcome to Montgomery County. Those of you who are outside of Montgomery County, we're delighted that you're here, delighted that you are in fact in Silver Spring. Montgomery County prides itself on our great diversity, the fact that we want to treat everyone with dignity and respect. We try to make sure that everyone is included in all aspects of life here in Montgomery County, including business life. We have improved significantly our procurement outreach. One of the things that I noted last week as we had a similar summit here conducted by Office of Procurement was a significant increase in the number of new businesses that are in fact doing business in Montgomery County. And overall, the percentage of minority and female-owned businesses are in fact engaged in business in Montgomery County. That is significant because as a county, we have a fairly large footprint throughout this region. With a budget of $5.5 billion, which is fairly large for a county. And we do a great deal of work in terms of outreach to make certain that all people, every person has an opportunity to be included in what we are doing as a community. Our efforts are to try to reach as many people as possible, to increase diversity of the businesses that are doing businesses in Montgomery County. We have a tremendous outreach program by Office of Community Partnership. In fact, about 10 days from now, I think a couple of you may be meeting with us to go to South Korea for a follow-up trip that I'll have, a sister city economic development trip in South Korea. and back to China as well. We're doing similar things in India, and we continue to make this outreach because we recognize that there are great opportunities around. We want to make certain that our businesses in Montgomery County are in fact at the table. This is a tremendous opportunity. I really appreciate the great work that our governor is doing to reach out. We are following a trip that the governor's had to South Korea, First Lady of Maryland and others, because it reflects the diversity that we have and the way we can ensure that that diversity is included is by doing business, making certain that people have an opportunity, that we are transparent in what we do, and that we are providing that opportunity across the entire board. The Asian community in Montgomery County is a vibrant community, but it can be even more vibrant if we provide the opportunities. And today is an opportunity to see just how fast and how clear we can work with that. So congratulations. Thank you for coming back again to Silver Springs. We're delighted that you are here, and I hope that you'll find this summer to be well worth your time. Thank you.
Let me first say good morning. If you don't mind, I'm going to stand up. I've been sitting a bit this morning, but I'm Rick Wade, and as was already introduced, I'm a former advisor to President Obama and former Secretary of Commerce and Ambassador to China, Gary Locke. And I spent a great deal of my career time over the last several years figuring out myself how to do business in America. And I'm an American. And it can become complicated sometimes, especially to foreign nationals and those who are coming from other countries and doing business in the United States. At best, the reverse is true. I spend a great deal of time in China and understanding the rule of law and the policies and regulations of doing business in China sometimes can as well be equally overwhelming and complicated. So we have a great panel this morning to talk about what some of those challenges are, and certainly a tremendous business leader on the panel as well. We can talk about this from practical experience, the experiences that he's had in setting up business in the United States. As complicated as it may seem, America is still a great place to do business, and still rated because of our rule of law and governance and the systems that we have in place, as still as one of the most significant places for foreign direct investment in the world.
Thank you so much for your support of Asian American Business Expo and for your presence here.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here. This is a very important expo, and I'm excited to be a part of it for the first year this year.
Well, you worked as a special advisor to the Obama administration, and also you were part of the high executive manager for the Department of Commerce. Was that correct?
That's correct. I had the fortune and pleasure of serving as the senior advisor and deputy chief of staff to Gary Locke, who was the Secretary of Commerce and later became ambassador to China. And as you know, he was one of the first Chinese American to serve in such not just a dual role, but as a former governor, a former mayor, a former Secretary of Commerce, and ambassador to China. He's a huge role model of mine, and we have a very, very special friendship.
I agree with you. So let's talk about China. So what are the challenges and opportunities for businesses to do, to go to China to do business, and vice versa for Chinese companies to come to the U.S. to do business?
Well, I think the U.S.-China business relationship is very strong. Any business, when you're doing business in foreign countries, there's always going to be challenges. I was integrally involved in establishing what we call Select USA when I was at Commerce Department, where we brought investors from around the world to the United States to invest and look at investment opportunities. And consecutively, every year, China brings the largest delegation. And so I think that's testament and an example that the relationship is healthy. Chinese are still looking for good investment opportunities in the United States, and United States companies are looking to do business also in China. So I think the relationship is strong. We certainly have our challenges, as we do with any country around the world, but I'm very optimistic about the future of the U.S.-China business relationship.
Kevin, you were a CPA. You had a great deal of experience in the formulation of businesses with regards to taxes. What kinds of business structures, first of all, should these folks who are looking to do business in the United States be thinking of, and what does that mean in terms of the United States? Kinds of business structures.
Well, just to kind of start off with it, I would say, when you start looking at structures, I mean, the first thing that I always talk about, that there's two things to make in consideration. There's a legal structure, and then there's a tax structure. Obviously, I will defer to the lawyers to talk about the legal ramifications of it. But I always get the question when people say, hey, I have an LLC, I'm taxed as an LLC. And I'm like, no, that's a legal structure. Your tax structure is different. So you could be taxed one of many different ways. And it really always depends on your circumstance and your situations. If you are a very small business owner, a C corporation, which is the typical big name corporations that you see, is probably not going to be the best tax structure for you. If you are a small business person who, there's just one of you and you're all by yourself, it may end up being that you want to just do a typical, what we would call a sole proprietorship. One of the most important things, and kind of step back and take the big picture, how many of you guys like sleep? Okay. How many of you guys have lost sleep because of taxes? Now, how many of those people have been doing their own taxes? Okay. So when I'm talking about this, look, I'm not trying to scare you into anything, but many of you probably are looking at this going, hey, you know what? Maybe we need to figure this out. And I hate to give the lawyer an answer. It always depends. I got to know you. You got to know me in order for me to give you the answer of which structure is going to be best for you in your industry. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you so much for your support of the Asian American Summit and also Expo today.
Well, I'll tell you what, I as a person who spent a lot of time, I lived in Japan for 2 years. My wife is Chinese. My son, obviously, they all speak Chinese in the house. This is a great organization to support, and I just really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
Well, America obviously is a great place to do business, and lots of the Asian Americans have small businesses. And our tax system definitely is not the easiest, even for the educated ones.
Yeah.
So what type of services do you offer for Asian small business or Asian small businesses?
Well, in my firm, we actually do focus a lot on the small businesses, and so one of the things we offer, obviously, is the compliance. Compliance being defined as, things that we have to do in order to make sure the IRS is satisfied and stays and doesn't come in to do any specific audits. We also do a lot of consulting. So, in addition to taxes, there's other issues that we can focus on. Retirement. We can also focus on audits. We can also focus on other services. But I think our assurance services, which is where we do audits, reviews, those are also a focus that we have of the firm at this time.
Well, for a small business, when you're starting a new one, what advice would you give them from the accounting standpoint?
Well, I think the first thing I would probably recommend is make sure that you have a system built up so that you can track your expenses. I would also make sure that you have separate bank accounts, separate credit cards, and then also, most importantly nowadays, because we're starting to see with a lot of the identity theft issues, where we've seen that people are using their social security number on everything, we recommend get an employee identification number, an EIN. The greatest thing about it is the IRS allows you to do it online. It's very easy. You don't have to hire me to do it. Obviously, I would love to do it for you, but it's very easy to do it yourself. And that's probably the biggest things to focus on. Make sure it's separate. Well, one thing we tend to see a lot in small businesses is, well, it's my money, so I'm going to use my personal account, my personal credit cards, my personal stuff. And the next thing you know, it's trying to separate what's business and what's personal becomes a big problem.
Greg, you at M&T Bank, is one thing to set up a business in the United States. It's another one that do transactions and make sure your money is right and you can move your money around. Talk a bit about kind of what's needed with regard to banking if any of the foreign nationals are interested in starting a business in the United States. What are some of the key components that they need to think about?
Thank you. If I don't give a detailed enough response, the true experts are back there. Gita, Asim, and Stephanie can answer the more detailed questions. But generally speaking, as a bank, we have a lot of regulatory. We have to have the right paperwork in terms of articles of incorporation, good standing. The business has to be registered in the United States. For instance, Gita has opened an account for, I think it was an English company from England, and they got registered through the state of Delaware, get their government-issued EIN number, and we have to also prove the address here in the United States. Beyond that, we have to make sure from a know your customer standpoint, AML, BSA, it kind of like what you said before, there's no black and white, especially on the lending front. We get paid to negotiate that gray area, and our passion for working with the small businesses, we're trying to always find a way to support them. We have a partnership with the SBA. We're the #1 SBA lender here in Washington, and they have some programs, and we can kind of talk to you offline about some of the more specifics, but our goal is to get you up and running and to make sure that your money is safe.
As you know, Asian businesses are mostly small, and they often have, of course, difficulty in accessing capital.
Yep.
So what kind of programs do you have that catering to the Asian American small businesses?
So M&T definitely caters to the small business community, and we have a preferred partnership with the Small Business Administration, the SBA, and we have many programs that cater to the small businesses in our communities. Our branch managers, business bankers, we work hand in hand with the businesses in terms of trying to identify the right loan program for them, whether it's conventional bank financing or SBA financing.
Well, one of the challenges for small businesses, especially first-generation immigrants, they have language barrier. Does your bank offer kind of language assistance to providing some of the services?
And that goes kind of to our model of having the branches and business bankers and having the decision makers local. We try to, I've had to use it in my office many times in terms of working with customers that, I need an expert that speaks, Korean or Mandarin. And so we try to leverage those resources to be able to make sure that we're communicating effectively with the businesses.
Thank you so much for being part of the Asian American Business Summit and Expo.
We are so happy to be here. This is a great event, and we're just thrilled to be here.
Well, can you tell us who do you represent and what services do you provide?
We're with the City of Rockville, Maryland, and we are the county seat for Montgomery County, but we are a separate jurisdiction. In other words, we have our own mayor and council, and we have our own procurement or buying department. And I'm here to tell people or to share how people can do business with the City of Rockville.
Traditionally, Asian Americans have small businesses, and due to language barriers and other handicap that our communities have. So how does the city promote business opportunities for Asian Americans?
All opportunities are promoted on the City of Rockville's website and also on something called eMaryland Marketplace, which is the state of Maryland's electronic procurement system. People what they can do is give me a call, and we can set up what I call one-on-one technical assistance, where we walk through the different paths. It's not always going to be here at the City of Rockville. It might be another path, initially, or there might be other procurement paths for them. But we want to get everybody actively engaged in their lines of business.
Well, thank you so much for making those opportunities available to our Asian American business community.
Thank you, Rose. It's great talking with you.
Good morning, Brian. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
Well, thank you so much for being one of the sponsors of this event. As you know, most of the Asian Americans have smaller business, so they are not a big business. So for services for them catering to not only individual but Asian small businesses, and can you tell us few reasons why we should choose T-Mobile?
Like I was saying, that personal touch, the global reach, and then also the business solutions that are catered towards the smaller businesses, the 4 or 5 line businesses, the mom and pop, if you will, businesses, the dry cleaners, the restaurants, the small businesses of that nature. We thrive in that market space.
You are watching Global Dragon TV's special report on Asian American Business Summit and Expo. Please tune in to our 24-hour channel for the next special report or visit our website at www.globaldragontv.com. If you want to be featured on our show, please contact us at globaldragontv@gmail.com.